you were like,
I was.
stay away, you know?
I was.
Oh, you guys are doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I don't.
Information.
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't know about a grand opening.
We're not open.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Absolutely.
Gonna be here? Is Eric gonna be here?
Eric's here. I don't know where he went to, but he's here.
Here he is.
Bruce, is Marie going to be here for the Mattamy matter?
Ben.
Vice Mayor, how are you?
No. Okay. Yeah.
That'll be good. I'm glad you told me.
Felt like a snag, and I'm like, I'll put it in my pants.
Oh.
I felt, you know, how it feels. It was like I got caught on a seatbelt holder or something, and I was like, so wait till everybody left tonight to go home.
That's why you're the first one.
All the firefighters here. Yes.
Trick or treating at my mom's, and then ended up spending the night at their house. So did some dinner, hung out there. So it was a good little family night. Yeah, and he was ready to go this morning.
Right? That's what we
Yeah,
had.
last night when we went out to the garage to do some trick or treating, he walked out to the garage and he thought, we're going home. And yeah, letting her go without me. Yeah, it was really cute.
They can talk about it at the Citizens Open Forum.
Our stuff is the citizens.
What are you talking about?
Our stuff is
Get up and talk about what? You talking about on the docket or on the agenda? Well, yeah, but there's a docket, the consent docket, so you're not talking about that, right? Yeah, they can get up and talk about
they
that.
can get up if they want, but citizens.
Correct.
Because we had to eliminate some things off the video. And if we want to start
Linda?
They talked about.
Linda, if you want them to talk when you're doing it, that's fine, I don't care.
We did an hour and a half session on that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's fine.
News clips.
We're ready.
Get a thumbs up out there.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation and our pledge. That will be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, as we approach Veterans Day and as we exercise the right of self-government that we enjoy as free citizens of this United States, we pause to thank you for the freedoms given to us by the generations of patriots who have preceded us and who risked their lives so that we may live as free men and women. We pray for the members of the armed services for the sacrifices they are making, and that you will continue to comfort the families of those injured or killed while serving our country. We are hopeful that your grace and love will be with those who have suffered and with those present here tonight who share in their pain and loss. This we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. Hard to believe, another month down. Our first item on tonight's agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. It allows you to address the City Council. We just have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes, that you state your name and address clearly for the record, and you can speak towards anything on tonight's agenda except for the 5 items under the city attorney, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Those are public hearings, and we will ask for your comment at such time as we are on that item. Otherwise, you can speak towards anything on tonight's agenda. Having said that, does anybody on this side of the room like to address the council? All these people.
All right.
I love it. Anybody on this side like to address the council? You can fight it out, Gator, whichever one of you want.
My name is Mike Swayze. I've been a citizen of Oldsmar since 1985.
Can you get your address real quick, just for the record?
I'm sorry?
Your address for the record?
616 Bay Lake Trail.
Perfect.
I would just like to say that I was driving by the park the other day, a while back, and I noticed the painting that's going up. It's really good, and I'd just like to say that I stopped by and I talked to the artists and everything, and I've actually helped them out some painting, and it's really nice to see that the city's taken in that kind of an interest and an effort to put forth some art in the city. It's really nice to see, and I hope there's more of it. It's tax dollars well spent in my mind.
Yeah, and to that point, just so you know, we have a program whenever we build a building in the city. What was that building come? What money did that come from?
I think it was from this.
It was just.
As part of the thing, we set aside a certain amount of the budget for art in public places so that we can do that. That's part of, and when we built this, there was a portion of it that went towards that. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Be expecting it to continue then.
yeah,
All right,
thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for volunteering too.
Yep, Gator, I know you had your hand up. Yeah. We'll do him real quick.
I'm Steve Black, 2010 Hudson Court here in Oldsmar. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Friends of the Library. I would like to remind everyone that on the 12th of November, there will be a drop-in crafts display going on at the library. And some of the folks that are coming are going to be making Christmas cards to send to the troops. There's also going to be a mini book sale at the same time in the arcade at the library. And we're going to
tiny books? You're selling little tiny books?
mini books. You have to have one letter per page. Real tall.
Yep.
We're also going to have finally the cooking demonstration that is done by Mr. Warren Catterson that was put off from October because of our good friend Matthew. It's going to be Florida cuisine, and that starts at 2 o'clock in Tico Hall. So we'd like to encourage everyone to come out and enjoy it. Thank you.
As you can tell, when you mentioned food, Dan wrote down the time and date.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to say I've been a resident of Oldsmar since 1986. It's definitely...
Name and address for the record.
Shane Morgan, 411 Tangerine Drive, Oldsmar, Florida. Okay. I do want to start off with a big thank you to Oldsmar for helping my parents raise me. It's been almost 30 years, and it's been such a privilege to help Lakima do this mural in our park. I'm so thankful to have art finally come to our city.
That's what the city taught you.
Having Marina, Xander, and Zoe, which are my children, grow up in that park. I helped build Friendship Playground, Troop 64, and it's just a blessing to have all this stuff here. So I encourage all the art we can do, and I'm all for whatever when it comes to art.
Okay. You left that pretty wide open.
But thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody else in the room that hasn't had a chance to speak that would like to address the council? Seeing no one, we'll close the citizens open forum, do the mayor's minute. Recap a couple of events. Top of the Bay Oktoberfest was a great success. The City of Oldsmar team helped out as well. I think we made it the success, I think, right, Vice Mayor? We had great weather, great attendance, and if you could sell out that thing Saturday night, we probably did. Eric, myself, and Councilmember Beaverland got to judge the I judged the pumpkin carving contest. That's right. The fire department won. It was great. I was able to go right down the middle of the road and pick the raised pumpkin, so I didn't upset anybody. We do something once a month with the Chamber of Commerce. It's called We Mean Business. Myself and the city manager and the Chamber of Commerce go and meet 3 businesses. It's really interesting. They love, to put a name with a face, and we hear about their story and why they picked Oldsmar. This week we went to OCM Recycling, which recycle computer components. All cases, which make a lot of the black cases that you see at concerts to store equipment. They also donated our centennial time capsule that we're going to fill. And then we went to the lighting factory and finished at the newly remodeled Buffalo Wild Wings. And it's always a great experience to hear the different stories and types of businesses that we have right here in the city of Oldsmar. Halloween happenings, Vice Mayor and myself and Councilmember Beaverland probably made some people mad, but we had a blast judging the costume contest. Everyone enjoyed the spooky trail, movie in the park, and candy. And in each category, there were probably 30.
You know you're in trouble when Jerry says to you, by the way, this one event that you're about to do, you're going to lose more votes than you ever will before if you ever run.
I told him, if you want to lose votes, go down and judge the costumes, and guarantee you're going to lose votes.
Upcoming events, obviously Election Day, 1 week from today, November 8th. I'm sure we're all going to be glad to get this thing behind us. Community Coffee, it's Wednesday, November 9th, 7:30 to 9, Oldsmar Fire Rescue. It's a free event. Coffee provided, open conversation with our sheriff's office personnel and the city officials. It's a chance for them to tell you what's going on in the community, how you can protect yourself, things to do over the holidays, and then also some city officials will be there to tell you some of the things that are going on in Oldsmar. Obviously, our Veterans Day ceremony, Friday, November 11th, 11 a.m. at Veterans Memorial Park. Looking forward to honoring our veterans and seeing the new names on the Veterans Wall unveiled. If you have never been to that park, you need to stop by. Also, our mural celebration that was talked about is the same day, Friday, November 11th at 5:30. Its community is invited to the celebration of the City of Oldsmar's mural by Lakima Matthew at R.E. Olds Park Amphitheater. And then also we have the same night, the Veterans Day celebration, a free concert with the Superstars. We'll have food vendors out there. It's again at R.E. Olds Park, food and beverages available for purchase. That starts from 6 to 10. And then finally, before we start the video, I will tell you, I don't know if you saw, we were on a couple of news stations last week. We had a press conference here talking about the Rays Stadium and us making our pitch for the site in the city of Oldsmar. All the news stations covered it, and it's a 120-acre site with the baseball stadium, and as you'll see by this quick video, I want you to see kind of what it could look like. And it was very well received. Even the Rays executive that was here called it very impressive. So this is kind of what the vision might be for that property across from Tampa Bay Downs. Mixed use with office, retail, hotels, shopping, restaurants. This depicts an open air stadium. That's not truly what's going to go there. Really what that is to represent is a 30,000 square foot stadium footprint to show what it could look like. So it's exciting, and we anticipate that the Rays will be making a short list very soon. This is something that Bruce and myself started talking about 3.5 years ago, actually, with Ed Armstrong, and pitching the idea and seeing if we were just out of our minds. And the more we talked to people, the more the central location the population that we have here within a 30-minute radius that the Rays are interested in. We have one of the best demographics, 1.2 million people with an average household income of $67,000, you know, accessible from all over the place, a very walkable feature, come early, stay late. So hopefully we'll get some news at some point. Hopefully we made the short list. If we didn't, it's not because of lack of effort. So I hope you enjoyed that. That wraps up the mayor's minute.
Mayor?
Yeah.
So everybody will understand that I think this video was made free gratis, was it?
It was the whole architectural component of it was, yeah.
Did you tell who did it?
Francisco Simch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know
with
who did it.
FSA. Yeah, he did it pro bono for us. We spent no city tax dollars other than a little bit of staff to help coordinate the press conference. And thanks to Deb and our IT department and the city clerk's office for really helping us pull it off. I think, you know, we really showcased Oldsmar and what potentially could go on that site, and to have the Rays be impressed with it. And when Bruce and I met in April with Brian and Melanie from the Rays, I think they were really impressed with the effort that the city of Oldsmar put into it. The one thing that it has, and I'll shut up about it, but the one thing that Oldsmar has is that no other site has is the ability for joint funding. No other site in Hillsborough or Pinellas County has a site that has one landowner of 450 acres that straddles both sides of Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. So you have the ability to get joint funding from both counties, which no other site has. Also, if we can get CSX and the DOT to work together, you have a rail line that runs from downtown St. Petersburg up through Pinellas County, through downtown Clearwater, through Safety Harbor, through Oldsmar, past the site, down Bush Boulevard, and then it bends to downtown Tampa. So potentially you could take a passenger train from downtown Tampa to the stadium or downtown St. Petersburg to the stadium. So it's kind of exciting, some neat features that I don't think any of the others have. So that'll wrap that up. Next is our consent docket. We have a couple items on there. I'll read them off. Waive the bid requirements for the annual purchase of library materials from the Baker and Taylor and award purchase under the same items, same terms, conditions, and pricing as the state of Florida contract pound 715-001-071 PB 16002. Second item, waive the bid requirement to purchase Caterpillar 299D skid steer loader from Ring Power Corporation off the Florida Sheriff's Association bid number FSA 16VEH 14.0 PB 17-00, or is that a D? D01B Park Division. Also waive the bid requirements to purchase a 2017 GMC Sierra 2500 HD crew cab truck from Allen J. Fleet Sales off the National Joint Powers Alliance bid pound 2017102811 PB pound 17-D002A Parks Division. Also waive the bid requirements to purchase self-contained breathing apparatus SCBA from the 10-8 Fire Equipment Incorporated under the same terms, conditions, and pricing as the Lake County BOCC contract pound 12-08060 PB 14-022A. dated 6/12/2012, which is extended through 6/30/2017. Waive the bid requirements to purchase a John Deere 5100 tractor from Everglades Farm Equipment off the Florida Sheriff's Association bid pound FSA 16-VEH 14.0 PB 17-001B Canal Park. Also accept the resignation of Tim Johnson from the Code Enforcement Board, and finally approve the tentative agenda for November 15th, 2016. Just to clarify, just so you know, it looks like a lot of waiving bid requirements. There's a lot of great state contracts that buy in bulk that allow us to piggyback off that, and they may buy 20 or 30, and we may only buy one, but we get it at the same price. And why there are so many on this is because we just started our new fiscal year. So all the purchasing waits until the beginning of the year, and then we purchase that. So that's why you see that. We don't normally have that many on there. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Next, City of Oldsmar. And we have 3 items on there, and first is going to be the amphitheater mural presentation, and we'll lead that off with former council member and former vice mayor Linda Norris.
Hi, everybody.
Feels definitely different to be on this side. I just want to real quick say a few things about the video, and then Lakima's going to talk, and then I'm going to talk. But when you watch the slides, there's a couple that are very, very close to my heart. Tony has helped sketch. Craig has helped paint on the veterans mural. Lakima can talk more about the centennial mural. And at the very end, there is, toward the end of the video, there is his sister, his only sister, holding his hand on the piece of artwork that was his. And the one that brought me to tears was Anthony, what was his? Rizzo. Sergeant?
Yeah.
Sergeant Anthony Rizzo was in the Humvee behind Frankie when Frankie was KIA. And Anthony had to go into the Humvee afterwards, and it brought everybody to tears at the Gold Star Mother dinner that we had. And there's a picture. I got him the day before he whatever you call it, redeployed to Afghanistan. And there's a picture of him and his wife holding both of Frankie's hands. So keep an eye out for those. That's all I wanted to say. So because they're going to go kind of quick. Thank you.
What is wrong with me? Lakima?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, I'm just, hello, everybody. I first want to say thank you guys for the opportunity to be part of the history of Oldsmar. I really appreciate that.
If I could just real quick, and I don't mean to interrupt you, before you talk, I want them to know the whole story, unless Linda wants to tell it. This was something that you started, if you want to tell how we got her. I mean, just real quick.
I'll go second.
We got a full house. Just a little bit of history of how we got Lakima.
How we got our great artist, because it was, Kima and I have both decided that it was divinely, it all happened in the right time. Okay, all of you on the city council understand how long it takes to get 5 different people with different backgrounds to agree on one art project, obviously.
Yes.
And that, it is what it is. Art is personal. So we went through several turns of the council before we actually finally got it to the point. Well, we didn't get it to the point because the money was going to go to the Centennial Committee. Sorry, Dan, but that wasn't going to happen. So I had asked the mayor to go ahead and let me go to USF. Let me try to go to USF. I met with Dr. Wallace Wilson, who will be at the dedication, and he did a class with Professor Cornejo, Cesar Cornejo, and the class was, I think, art and architecture, right? Was it called art and architecture? Something to do with that. Anyway, the syllabus said what they had to do was design and present an art project to the city of Oldsmar. And then we all looked at them, we all chose an artist.
How many were there? You remember?
About 9, but I think only 7 or 8, actually submitted, right?
They each came up with their own theme based on seeing the city of Oldsmar.
They did, but for some reason, somebody said something about benches, so most of them did something about benches.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Kima went outside the box and did a mural, and the reason she wasn't chosen was because she chose to build a wall to put the mural on in a flood zone, which she didn't know. Okay, so that really wasn't her fault. But anyway, so Sierra, the girl that won the contract, just kept lying, flaking out on me. And okay, at this point, I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, I term out pretty soon, and these people are going to give the money to the Centennial Committee. So I didn't give up, and Kima and I had stayed in contact. And so I called her up and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay. And so from then, we worked together. We met with Jerry for several hours about the history. I listened to everything everybody on the council said about what they liked and what they didn't like. I gave that information to Lakima, and worked on the designs. I helped her a little bit. She did most of the designs. I only had a little bit of input. On the veterans design was the only one that I had input on. The rest was all hers. And then once we get started, I'm 3 months away from terming out, and they stucco over what we're going to paint, and the stucco crumbles. Yeah. So took the city a while, but at least the city fixed it and got the stucco all fixed. So we were actually able to start painting in July. Good. And then rainy season hit, and Kima had other commissions, so we could only work Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
And here
now,
we are.
What?
And here we are today, right?
And here we are today, and just a disclaimer, the first mural will be 100% complete, the second mural will be almost complete, but complete enough for us to have the celebration on Veterans Day to honor the veterans.
Good. Sorry, go ahead. Yep, perfect.
Is that good? Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Lakima. To her, thank you for letting me do that. I know your name's Randy.
Randy? Hi, Randy. Okay, but yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be part of the history of Oldsmar. And I hope that before I get talking about this, I hope that you guys will give me another opportunity to perhaps do another mural on the opposite side. And I was thinking that, I know you guys have like one council meeting in December, and maybe, if you guys enjoy what you guys see, maybe I get another opportunity to submit some more ideas for the opposite side. But with that said, yes, I want to thank all the residents. I want to especially give my thanks out to Linda. Linda, I don't know if I could have gotten this far if it wasn't for Linda's help. So I really do appreciate that. I also, I want to say thank you, council members and the mayor, for those that came out. The only people that actually worked on it was Gabby. Doug did something. The mayor painted like a little piece,
like a pencil sketch,
a picture, but it was still good enough. We got you in record.
I didn't want to mess it up, to be honest with you.
Whoa, I was gonna help you paint, and y'all told me I didn't have any
Jerry
talent.
came when it was already done. Jerry came when it was already done.
Jerry rescued us because me, the rocket scientist that I am, goes to Lowe's to buy plywood in my leaf.
Yeah, he did help out in that area.
That's when they found out I didn't have any talent.
I also want to say that, the second mural is in process, and I'm hoping that it will really appear as if it's done on the 11th. And I hope that all you guys are able to come out and do your little mark or two on that. I'm just overwhelmed. Words can't describe how I feel about being part of this. This is actually, like, I've been painting murals since I was 15 years old. However, I've always been an assistant to the lead artist, and this is finally my opportunity to become the lead artist and cement my own legacy, and hopefully I'll be able to continue. And I don't really know what to say right now, because all I could really say is thank you, and I hope you guys enjoy the process of the video, and hopefully you guys will be able to see the process of the other one. Oh, I have an idea. All right, so the first mural, I call it Not Forgotten. You guys saw that. And what's interesting is, like, the day that the photographer from the Tampa Bay Times came, he was asking me, he was like, "You have a name for this?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I don't." And the moment he was getting ready to leave, I just felt it in my spirit. And I was like, Not Forgotten, that's gonna be the name. And I ran to him, and I was able to get him just before he left. And then I'm thinking about calling the next mural We, W-E, exclamation mark, R.E, so it's like we're Oldsmar.
Nice.
And stay tuned.
Crazy artist, you.
So stay tuned to We're Oldsmar with a period and not.
Very creative.
Yeah, that. Anyways, thank you again, and I hope you guys are all welcome to come to the park and help me work on it if you want. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakeem.
Video will go in the contact. Mayor, she said that this video can go into the time capsule.
Good, yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, and I also need to point out that this mural, the Veterans mural, is not just about Frankie. This mural is about all veterans. The Veterans Wall is on it. The Veterans Memorial statue thingy is on it. The gazebo is on it. So even though she used Frankie's image and we used Frankie's artwork, because the artwork at the bottom, if y'all don't know this, is Frankie's last piece of artwork that he produced before he was killed in action. So that, so we used those, but it honors all veterans, all veterans. Perfect. And then the only other thing I wanted to say was like another divine moment. We were working on the mural, Frankie's mural, the Veterans mural, on Frankie's birthday. And one of the pictures showed Frankie's Patriot barbecue food, and Kima and somebody else, I don't know. Oh, Michael Parker, her mentor, with the mural in the background, and Frankie's like this, and there's birds going like this, and I kid you not, a flock of black birds flew by.
Oh, my God.
When we were doing that. So it was just like, and if it's okay, Mayor, can Craig say a few words?
I was just going to
Yes.
ask him, sure.
And also, thank you so much, Council, for letting this happen.
Thank you, Linda.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss my son. And I'm very proud of him, but I'm also just overwhelmed with thanksgiving for this city that we live in. Oldsmar is definitely the place to live in the state of Florida as far as I'm concerned. I found out about this mural several weeks after it started. I picked up the newspaper. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to appear to be that ignorant. I can't tell me how many times I drove down, probably drove right by it and just, hey, that's so painting something on the wall. And, but I just wanted to say thank you. It's an honor to be a part of this city and to see that artwork with my son's artwork on it. Because, when I open the newspaper up and I'm looking and I'm saying, wow, that picture looks very familiar. And then lo and behold, it's a picture of my son up there. But I just, there's really no words to express my thanksgiving, my wife and my thanksgiving to the city of Oldsmar, because we often say, poor is the nation who forgets their heroes. And even though that mural is made for all the veterans, I think it's only fitting that Frankie's picture's on there because he belonged to a cavalry unit called 38th Cavalry, and their motto was always out front. So even though it honors all veterans, everybody that's served, Frankie he's out front. He's still out front there. And I know he's looking down from heaven right now and just saying, what a great city I lived in. So God bless you all. God bless America.
Thank you. And just real quick before we move on to answer Lakima's question about the back, obviously we hadn't made a decision on that yet. We are probably first or second quarter maybe going to be doing some work on the band shell. We're removing the box off the band shell. We've got to do some repairs to when we remove it. We've got to relocate it somewhere. It's probably going to be behind one of those wing walls possibly. So because we don't know exactly what it's going to look like or where, we'll probably hold off on what to do with the back of those, because that box is probably about, 10 by 10 or something like that. I don't know how big it is, but. So, yeah, I was asking Bruce, do you know how big that thing is, the murals? Is it like 10 by 20, do you know?
10 by 20.
10 by 20.
Yeah. So if the shed is 10 foot, there's also the possibility that we could incorporate the mural into the shed.
Yeah, and at this point, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I know we've bid it out, haven't we, or something to do some of it? Not yet. So I don't want to start doing stuff and then it kind of like we decided not to do underneath the stage because we've got other plans to do on that. So we're going to dress it up. So at any rate, thank you very much to Lakima and the team. And I got to tell you, the video, at least to me, was really neat to be able to capture all the residents of, your friends and family and the residents of the city of Oldsmar being a part of it, even though I only painted a little bitty piece of it. Yep.
There was one other piece of divine intervention, and Linda kind of alluded to it, and this is from a council perspective, with all the different projects that never could be agreed on for investing in art in our community. When we got the, 3 to 5 different ideas, literally at practically the same meeting, we all agreed right across the board on what's up there now. Now that was divine intervention.
5-0 votes for the first time.
First time through, I'm not.
And just to put it in perspective, it took us an hour and a half to decide about carpet in this room. So.
I wasn't on the council.
How long did it take us to choose this carpet in this room?
That's what I just said.
How long?
I don't know, hour and a half, 2 weeks, I don't know.
Hour and a half. It took about 3 months.
Mayor, one quick thing, Lakima, I just want to say one thing. I saw some of your posts on Facebook in regards to your work when you were out there in the heat. I know you got a little depressed there. Thank you for just staying focused and your desire to get it done. It looks beautiful. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing the other mural representing the city and some of the history, so that'll be great with Ransom E. Olds right at the front of it. So next item on the agenda is the fire rescue swearing in of new hires and lieutenant promotions. Chief O'Neill, wow, you dressed up pretty good.
There's a joke in there somewhere. Mayor, Council, Mr. Haddock, it's my honor tonight to introduce you to some new members of the fire rescue family. We have Alex and Justin come up. Prior to the event tonight, or prior to the swearing in tonight, we met at the fire rescue. We had what we normally do is we have a cake and have family members come in and kind of celebrate with them and introduce each other. And then we like to come in front of the council and do the formal swearing in for this. But with some recent retirements and shift assignment changes, we had 2 openings, one for a paramedic, one for an EMT. So with us tonight are Alex Vidal, who's a firefighter paramedic, and Justin Newland, who's a firefighter EMT. And if you'd like to come up and do her.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Justin Newland,
Do solemnly pledge.
Do solemnly pledge
To uphold the laws and Constitution.
to uphold the laws and Constitution
Of the United States of America.
of the United States of America,
The state of Florida.
the state of Florida,
And the city of Oldsmar.
and the city of Oldsmar.
I pledge to remain ever vigilant.
I pledge to remain ever vigilant,
Protecting our citizens' lives.
protecting our citizens' lives,
Health, homes, and property.
health, homes, and property.
I pledge to accomplish our mission.
I pledge to accomplish our mission
Through education and training.
through education and training,
And the commitment to accountability and respect.
and to the commitment of accountability and respect.
I pledge to accept with honor.
I pledge to accept with honor
The duties and responsibilities.
the duties and responsibilities
A firefighter for Oldsmar Fire Rescue.
a firefighter for Oldsmar Fire Rescue.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I, Alex Vidal,
I, Alex Vidal,
do solemnly pledge.
do solemnly pledge
To uphold the laws and Constitution.
to uphold the laws and Constitution
Of the United States of America.
of the United States of America,
The state of Florida.
the state of Florida,
And the city of Oldsmar.
and the city of Oldsmar.
I pledge to remain ever vigilant.
I pledge to remain ever vigilant,
Protecting our citizens' lives.
protecting our citizens' lives,
Health, homes, and property.
health, homes, and property.
I pledge to accomplish our mission.
I pledge to help accomplish our mission
Through education.
through education, training,
And the commitment to accountability and respect.
and to the commitment, accountability, and respect.
I pledge to accept with honor.
I pledge to accept with honor
The duties and responsibilities.
the duties and responsibilities
Of firefighter for Oldsmar Fire Rescue.
for firefighter of Oldsmar Rescue. So help me God.
Congratulations.
It's probably the hardest thing they'll have to do in the next several weeks. Just one of the things that we talk about when we bring new members into the fire rescue service is the commitment to family. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out 2 people who are here tonight with us because that's part of our fire service family who helped me grow up. And if I could get him to stand, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. But Captain retired Bob Carmen is sitting in the audience. Bob was my captain many guy who's dressed remarkably similar to us, Lieutenant Greg Newland with Clearwater Fire Department. Second portion of what we do is we have family members come up and actually pin the badge on a new firefighter. So Alex, if you'd like to invite your family and tell us who they are.
This is my grandmother, Sonaida Vidal. Grandma. During the academy, during the summer, I lost my grandfather. He was very dear to me, so in honor of my grandfather, I would like my grandmother to pin me.
We got paramedics here if you need them. And Justin?
I'm going to have my dad, Greg Newland, come up and pin me.
Oh, there's selfies in the back. Want them together?
Sure.
You?
Before we came over here tonight, we were at the fire station doing the ceremony I talked about. We were taking some pictures, and I got a pretty interesting picture of Rose. Please stand up for us. This is Justin's mom, Rose. We got a good picture of Rose and Greg and Justin on the front of the fire truck, and this kind of brings back the whole theme of family. I have a picture I want to show you. That's great. Justin. That's Justin 20 years ago.
Wow.
When mom and dad stopped by the fire department. At that time, Greg was an employer of the Oldsmar Fire Rescue. And before they even got home, they stopped by the fire station. And 20 years later, we're standing here in front of you.
That's awesome.
That's really
Cool.
We ready for what? Go sit down. Congratulations. This is all you, Chief. You probably all realize you're probably sitting in one of the safest areas in a 9-square-mile area right now with our presence here. So, the next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to recognize 2 of our fire rescue employees who've been promoted to the rank of lieutenant. Dave Young, Brian Luker, if you'd come up. Just a couple of quick little stories. Dave's been with us since 2000, so he's in 16 years with Oldsmar Fire Rescue. He will be assuming the duties of Oldsmar 500, which is our EMS coordinator, with the retirement of Aaron Gonzalez, who did that before. Aaron will be taking that over. Brian Ludiker, who was, and I don't have a picture, I wish I did, Brian was actually a volunteer with Oldsmar Fire 20 years ago, before working at Pasco County Fire for a few years, and then we were able to snag him back from Pasco County. He is going to be assigned to the A shift. Matter of fact, is that the right shift? Okay, A shift. So. That's right. So we're going to have your family members come up. We're going to start with Dave. We'll go by seniority.
My son, Ben. My son, Ben.
Oh, he's going to
It's your chance to get him back.
He's guiding that arm.
Yeah. and more hair. Brian?
I'm going to have my son, Will, come up and pin me.
can't see him.
Imagine.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
There you go.
Very good.
Thing, since we have so many of us here, I hate to take up some extra time, but let's get all you uniform folks come up here, and we're going to take a quick picture with everybody.
Oh, I'm good. Okay. Really gonna have to get down.
Share the love.
This isn't gonna work.
Nope, I don't have one.
Or will it?
See the TV? I can see your head, Bruce.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I'm right in the middle of it.
Well, that pose. Harder than it looks.
We'll just be back here sleeping. You done, Deb?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's backwards.
Congratulations. What? Somebody's presenting to you, right? Yes. Okay. Our next item is presentation of the flag to the fire rescue. Guys, to Chief Mark Lynn. A little story about the flag, maybe.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mark Lynn, 710 Sweetbriar here in Oldsmar. Privilege of being a resident since April of 2008. Furthermore, privilege, in December 2010, I presented a U.S. and Florida state flag that had been flown on an Apache attack helicopter and a Black Hawk helicopter when I was over in Iraq to the then sitting mayor, and I believe it's hanging across the street. I redeployed after that, went back to Iraq, thought I helped close it in 2011, but we're back there again. And I was asked to go to Afghanistan and do the same thing. So I was there from July 2011 until February last year when I came home. But in 2014, I had been working closely with different people on post when I'm being the fire station. And I found out that they would take a U.S. flag and fly it around throughout the day for 9 hours and 11 minutes in remembrance of 9/11 for anyone back home that you wanted. So I had one put together for our local fire department, show appreciation for everything you guys do for us. Nobody appreciates them until they're there to help you, usually. And I wanted to make sure I was out front of that, hopefully never needing you at my address. So I could read this for you. This American flag was carried with honor for the City of Oldsmar Fire and Rescue Department, Station 54. On the 5th of April, 2014, this flag was proudly carried by the crew members of Engine 4 Bagram Fire Department, Afghanistan, and bears witness to the protection provided to those defending the freedom of the United States of America. This flag was carried for 9 hours and 11 minutes during Operation Enduring Freedom. Never quit, never abandon, never leave behind. Engine 4. The certificate itself is from the fire station there. They put it together. And then I got their unit challenge coin. I picked up a couple so we can see both sides of the coin in each of the corners here. So, Chief.
And Mark, I really appreciate the opportunity to have this, and I guarantee we're going to have this in a place of honor at the fire station where you can see it 24/7, 365. Thank you very much.
And I'd just like to say, Mark, thank you from the city of Oldsmar for all the years of service that you gave over there. And while you're risking your lives twice now, you've thought of the city of Oldsmar and what it meant to you and doing something nice. I believe the other flag is out on the case outside. So, yep, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Mayor?
Yeah.
If you allow me, you never will appreciate these guys. You never will really appreciate them until you meet them. And Bob, you volunteered back in the 1970s, did you not?
Yes, I did.
So Bob goes way back yonder. And he was one of the first firemen that, when Bruce brought to the city of Oldsmar a paid fire department. In fact, Bob was on the department then when we needed them. They came to my house in 1980. They saved my son, whom we lost 9 months later. You guys are the best. These people up here are proud that you work for this great city. Thank you for everything you do, all of you. And again, you'll never realize how great they are. And you have to call them your house. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate everything you do, and you know that. So what I'm going to do, we got the city attorney coming up next. I know we got a lot of family that if you guys want to take a few minutes and disperse, that's fine with us. We got some really exciting stuff coming up, public hearings. Public hearings, and I know some of you probably want to go watch the Cubs win, so. Cubs. For those that want to leave, go ahead. Give you a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Greg. Congratulations. And you know, you've got gray hair now. That'll do it. Yeah, I know you're proud of it. And
I don't think there's.
Aaron?
you've done well. And that was really brought back some memories, that picture there, didn't it?
Hey, Dean. Deputy, make sure that they kind of, because they like to stand out there and talk. Okay.
My neighbor.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah. Look how straight.
Next, you want to say where's the? Do you know that, Jerry? Did you know he was a paramedic? That's pretty neat. Even weirder, two people that I used to work with. One from about 6 years ago and someone from about 15 years ago are both in the audience tonight. Yeah, one of them. I think she might be like the sister-in-law to Justin. And maybe the sister to Justin.
Tom, I'm sure it's nothing personal.
And Gator's asleep, so that doesn't count.
Another one is father from the Boy Scouts.
I thought at least a few might stay. Oh, the deputy's here. Can we make sure they get out and down so they get kind of loud? All right, our next item is our city attorney. We have a couple public hearings, which time when we get to that item, you can speak towards it.
On the agenda is the second and final reading and public hearing of ordinance 2016-06. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2016-06, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the future land use plan element of the comprehensive plan of the city by amending the land use designation on that certain real property generally described as vacant land consisting of parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6, 6, 6, 0, 020, 0020, parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6, 6, 6, 0, 020, 0011, a portion of parcel 22, 28, 16, 00, 000, 130, 0200, Parcel number 22 28 16 420 and a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 0140010, containing approximately 11.95 acres, is further described in Exhibit A from County Land Use Designations of Residential Low, Medium, RLM, and Preservation, P, to the City Land Use Designations of Residential Urban, RU, and Preservation, P, and providing for an effective date. That's the second and final reading of Ordinance 2016-06 by title only, and it does require a public hearing.
The client and client's representative are here. Do you wish to add anything?
No, sir.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? No, I think it's great. Thank you. Call the roll.
Vice Mayor Seibel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Ricky?
Yes.
Councilmember Beaverland?
Absolutely.
Mayor Beavis?
Yes.
Second and final reading of ordinance 2016-06, amending the land use on Lot 2, Bayside Terrace, north side of State Road 580, West Oldsmar, from residential low, medium, and preservation to residential urban and preservation, is passed and adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
That was the land use ordinance. Now we'll talk about the zoning ordinance. This is the second and final reading and public hearing of ordinance 2016-07. I'll read it by title only. An ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, rezoning certain real property described as vacant land generally consisting of a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 9660 014 0010 from residential office RO to residential plan development RPD with a planned unit development PUD overlay, and vacant land generally consisting of parcel number 22 28 16 9660 020 0020, parcel number 22 28 16 9666 020 0010, a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 000 130 0200, parcel number 22 28 16 000 420 0100, and a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 9666 014 0010 from county zoning designations of residential multifamily district RM 7.5 and preservation conservation district PC to city zoning designation of residential plan development RPD with a plan unit development PUD overlay, and vacant land generally consisting of parcel number 22 28 16 9666 016 0190, a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 0000 130 0200, parcel number 22 28 16 0000 130 0300, and a portion of parcel number 22 28 16 9666 014 0010 from residential multifamily RM 15 to residential plan development RPD with a plan unit development PUD overlay, and providing for the effective date. That was the second and final reading of ordinance 2016-07 by title only. And this also requires a public hearing.
Again, the client's representative, anything to add?
No, sir.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address the public? Yes, Jason? And if you could, just state your name and why you're here, that would be great.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for dispersing that large crowd because my anxiety level was very high. So thank you for that. Good evening. My name is Jason Vargas. I reside in 209 Meadow Lane, Oldsmar, Florida. I have been a resident for Oldsmar for approximately 10 years, and I am also a student at St. Petersburg College Public Policy and Administration program. I'd like to thank... No, hey, I'm gonna have this video for class. They know you, Professor. Popular man. All right. So I would like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and your councilman for everything you do for the city. As our resident historian knows, REOs envision a city for the working class family, and I feel you guys definitely provide that for me as well. I have a 4-year-old, so thank you for that. I'm here tonight to speak on ordinance 2016-07, the rezoning of Bayside Terrace, which is approximately 24 acres in west side of Oldsmar, from residential multifamily and preservation to residential plan development. I understand in doing so, this will pave the way for a developer to begin construction on the 164-unit community with approximate land dedication of approximately 2 acres, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 0.77 of those acres are dedicated to the city. So As many of you know, that land had tremendous potential and it laid vacant for a while. And so it's kind of an eyesore for the city. So I feel this development would not only enhance the physical appearance of the area, but also most certainly bring about new business to the area. So therefore, I'm in support of this ordinance. I believe this community will surely, this new community will be a positive upgrade to the city, and I'm anxious to see what the future holds for this area and for this development. So I would like to thank you again for your time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and a special thanks to the planning manager, Michelle Parizano, for speaking for me as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Jason. We're glad to be a part of SPC.
Hold on, Mr. Mayor. Now, don't we all have questions for Jason?
I got some tough ones.
That was on the brief, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear those.
Yeah, thank you for your interest in the city, and glad to be able to do that. And if you need me to come speak to your class, I'll be happy to do that as well. So, anybody else?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anybody else from the public wish to address the council? Seeing no one, will close the public hearing. Let me get a motion first. Motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion?
Yeah, I just want to thank him for supporting out there.
Jason.
Jason?
Yes.
Thank you for supporting this.
Hey, thank you.
Are you going to get credit for this or something?
I was part of one of my projects. That Professor Cronstable, he's a genius.
Well, we're happy to help you get credits then
Thank you.
on your project. I just want to remind the council how fortunate we are tonight that all Tom had to do is read the first part of this. When I was first elected to this council,
Had to read the whole thing.
about 40 years ago, or 50 or whatever it was, we had to read the total ordinance at least one time. We sat there at one, I don't know if you remember this or not. Well, you were back there or not.
Yeah, I mean, it made me old.
We sat there way back yonder, and we read 2 straight days, because the ordinance was that long. Do you remember those days?
Truly painful. Yes, I do.
So I just think the council should be aware how lucky you are tonight. It only took, if you look at what's left down here, Tom would have went cross-eyed.
Well, case in point, one of them we're getting ready to address is 17 pages in length, so I guess we're pretty happy. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beville?
Absolutely.
Mayor Beavis? Second and final reading of ordinance 2016-07, rezoning Bayside Terrace, approximately 24 acres, located on the north side of State Road 580, West Oldsmar, from residential office, residential multifamily, and preservation conservation to residential plan development with planned unit development overlay, is passed and adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 13 on the agenda is the second reading and consideration of the Bayside Terrace Development Agreement. This is the development agreement between the City of Oldsmar and Mattamy Tampa / Sarasota LLC. It sets forth the terms and conditions for the development to be built. It's a 164 single-family attached dwelling subdivision and associated community improvements that are discussed in detail in the development agreement. If you have any further questions about the development agreement, I'd be happy to answer them, and I know that city staff, Marie Dauphiné, the department head, is here and will also be able to discuss them if you have any questions.
Staff, do you have anything? Thank you. Client representative, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Thank you. Need a motion? A second? Any discussion on this item? The icing on the cake, as far as I'm concerned. This is great,
Is
so.
it not a public hearing?
It is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Y'all done, Jason? Seeing nobody, will close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beville?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
Bayside Terrace Development Agreement is passed and adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Congratulations.
Are they done yet?
Just get it done fast.
Get busy.
You didn't bring shovels? Are you going to do a groundbreaking at some point, you think? Tomorrow?
We usually always don't do that, but we can do one.
That'd be great.
We're groundbreaking kind of.
We're a groundbreaking kind of city, so. It's great for the community, I think, so, in the area.
We'll be there.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Night.
Next on your agenda, item number 14 is first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2016-08. I did want to bring to your attention that on the dais, there is a change in the ordinance that's the change in your packet. I want to specifically reference the changes. This is in section 9 of the ordinance, which is on page 17. The word annual was added before the word charge, so it reads the annual charge. In paragraph A, and in paragraph B, the following words were added after the words lift station reinspection, those words being during the permit year. So with these small changes, I'm going to read this ordinance by title only. If you have any questions, I'm sure that someone here can answer them. I know Mr. Braithwaite is here, and the city manager and myself will give it a crack. So I'll read ordinance 2016-08, an ordinance of the city of Oldsmar amending section 70-268 of the Code of Ordinances to decrease the significant industrial user, SIU, and increase the categorical industrial user, CIU, wastewater discharge permit fee. Amending section 70-295 to provide for a 3% increase over the next 4 fiscal years to the monthly service availability charge for reclaimed water. Amending section 70-444 to provide for a 3% increase over the next 4 fiscal years to the water service monthly service charges and consumption rates. To provide for a 3% increase over the next 4 fiscal years to the irrigation or processed water rates. Amending section 70-445 to provide for a 3% increase over the next 4 fiscal years to the sewer service monthly service charges and consumption rates. Amending section 70-447 to provide for a one-time increase for miscellaneous service charges, including delinquent water turn-off, turn-on after hours, meter reread, water turn-on, and water turn-off. Amending section 70-448 to revise the charge for meter removal, testing, and replacement from $50 to the city's actual cost of removal, test, and replacement. To increase the fire hydrant charge to $95 per year for each hydrant on private property, and to increase the fire hydrant charge to $110 per year for each hydrant on private property outside the city's fire protection service area. Amending section 70-450 to provide for a one-time increase to water and sewer connection fees, and to establish a new fee for connection installed by developer for meters larger than 3 inches at the actual cost plus 10%. Amending section 70-451 to provide for a one-time increase to meter installation fees, creating section 70-453 to provide for private lift station permit and inspection fees and reinspection fees, and providing for an effective date hereof. That was the first reading of ordinance 2016-08 by title only, and it does require a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Seeing no one, will close the public hearing. I need a motion.
So move.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? Do we want Tom to read it again?
In full.
No, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make just one comment towards it. I think it's important for our citizens to, while this does represent an increase, it certainly does not put Oldsmar high in the pack or at the bottom of the pack, but something that I think is very, very important that I want to point out and really commend our city and past leadership on. We've all watched and witnessed in the news during these unbelievable storms that we've had, where unfortunately millions of gallons of waste has been, untreated waste has been pumped out into the bay. And yet when all that was going on, that didn't happen here in the city of Oldsmar. One of the reasons really is because we invest in our infrastructure, and this will enable us to continue to make those capital investments. And so I think it's a really smart move for us to stay way out in front and ensure that we're protecting our bay and making sure that we have adequate and up-to-date equipment, and we just don't get behind. And that requires painful decisions like raising rates. But that's what, in some cases, people did not have the fortitude to do. And so I think it's
Mr. Mayor,
wise.
if I can piggyback on that. In 1990, and Bruce will remember this, in 1990, one of the first things that I had to address as a council person is that we're going to raise sewer and water rates. And so that he told me to expect this. So when that night showed up, city council chambers were full of people, and they weren't happy. They were not happy. And so before we even started, I asked the mayor if I could make a statement. And I said, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I grew up, we didn't have, and this is what I told him, we didn't have electricity in our house until I was 9 years old. Y'all get that? I was born on a bed next to a coal oil lamp in a 2-room house. We had a 2-holer outside. And I said, when we finally moved to Arco, Idaho, we moved up in the world. We got a 3-holer. Now I said, I want to know, you people out in the audience, what's a 3-holer? And nobody raised their hand. And I said, I'm going to tell you all something. There's people out here as old as I am. Now raise your damn hand, because you know what a 3-holer is. I said, well, the hands went up. I didn't see the inside of a toilet until I was 12 years old. Nobody had a toilet in the town we lived in. We all had 2- and 3-holers. I said, one of the cheapest things you have in this life is that you walk in your house, you go into your bathroom, you do whatever you have to do, and you push a little damn lever, then you walk out that door, and you just forget about everything. I said, it travels 2 or 3 miles to get to our sewer plant. I said, if you get cold in your house, you push a button, and the air conditioner comes on. If you get warm, or the heat comes on, or what. I said, if you want to call Paris, you pick up a phone. You want a drink of water, you go to your tap, you turn something, the water comes out, and you don't think a thing about it, where that water comes from. I said, you don't even consider it. You go out and pay $25,000 for a car, or back in those days, you pay $50,000, $60,000 for a house, and you're going to come here and complain because we're going to raise your rates a little bit. I said, I'll tell you what we can do. We can give everybody in this room a shovel, and we'll help you build a 2-holer. And I said that. And Mayor, there wasn't one person that got up and complained about us raising the water and sewer rates. This is what you're talking about.
Man, I wish you had an opinion.
Wasn't exactly what I was talking about, but your point is well taken.
I wish you had an opinion sometimes. I hate when you ride the fence like this. I sure hope you vote for this. I just want to add, Tom made a great point. This isn't something that we as council did or staff did unto themselves. The City of Oldsmar's Consultant Public Resources Management Group completed a water wastewater rate study dated July 28, 2016. We had a workshop, and it was based on that. So it's not something that we just did arbitrarily. As we typically do, we try and have some information behind why we do the things that we do, and some logic into why we do the things that we do. So do you wish to add anything? Well,
I think y'all covered it.
oh, yeah, even here. And like you've never said, can I interrupt you, Mr. Mayor? I don't think.
I'm sorry.
We got a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion or history lessons, could you call the roll, please?
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki.
Yes.
Councilmember Mickey.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaverland.
Yes, because I don't want 2-holers anymore.
Mayor Beavis.
I don't even know what a 3-holer is, but yes.
And does it require 2 shovels? I was just wondering.
First reading of ordinance 2016-08, revising water and wastewater rates and charges is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
The last item under city attorney is item number 15. This is the first reading of public hearing of ordinance 2016-09. This is the ordinance that allows golf carts to be used on a portion of Bay Arbor Boulevard. That ordinance title reads, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, the City Council of the City of Oldsmar amending section 66-108 and 66-109 of Chapter 66 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar to authorize an additional designated city street on which golf carts may be operated and providing for an effective date. That was the first reading of ordinance 2016-09 by title only, and it does require a public hearing.
And I believe, and there is a map that's in the packet that goes along. It's, again, from the gate to the entrance to Bay Arbor Plaza. So this is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. There you are. I didn't know you had that. The next one shows the,
Right there.
Next page.
the next page shows, I don't know if you have that or not, but that's fine. I didn't even know you had that. This is a public hearing. Nobody addressed the council, so we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? And just,
You had that?
and just for clarity and transparency, I live in that neighborhood, and it was at the request of a resident. And the process was, they asked me the process, and so I asked the city manager. The city manager relayed to me that they need to address it with the homeowners association. They addressed it with the homeowners association and requested it through the city. So it wasn't at my request, so just for clarity on that item.
You don't even own a golf cart, do you?
I do not.
You have a tractor probably, don't you?
Right, yeah, a green one.
Doesn't count.
A green one, yes. We got a motion and a second, no other discussion. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beaverland?
Absolutely, because he does not own a golf cart.
It's not a danger to
Mayor Davis?
I'm not a danger to the community or myself. Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2016-09, allowing golf carts on a portion of Bay Arbor Boulevard, passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay. Just one other thing I just want to mention briefly. You may have seen the article in the newspaper about the red light camera case.
Yes.
We were successful. You know, my associate Randy Mora, who has been here and covered the meetings in the past, he was very critical in moving that case through the appellate process. We did have an outside attorney that was also working on the appeal. The city was successful in the appeal before the second district. It is a major win for the red light camera industry, and it was almost immediately appealed to the Florida Supreme Court. We'll be having a memo. I asked Randy to prepare a memo to give you the more specifics on it. I know you've already read it in the newspaper probably, because it just happened a couple of days ago. But he is going to be preparing a memo, and I will circulate it so that you understand the significance of that particular win for the city of Oldsmar. You've put yourselves on the map by that win.
Yeah, and just, will you be involved in the Florida Supreme Court part of it as well?
Randy will be.
Randy will? Not me, you, but
Yeah.
yeah, your firm.
This is the second time that you're, well, more than the second time, but where it was all over Florida. Second time y'all have won. And the first one was on billboards.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
that was huge.
The city of Oldsmar beat them on the billboards.
Yeah, and we have none in the city of Oldsmar. So, and just for the record, you know, while it's great to be a part of a winning case, you always like to be a part of that. We discontinued our program a little over a year ago with the ATS. So while it's exciting, we discontinued the program in the city of Oldsmar about a year ago. So anyway, anything else?
No, that's it. I just wanted you to know that something
thanks
is
for the
coming.
update.
Something is coming to you, okay?
Yep, thank you for the update. Next, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 16, approve amendment to flood mitigation agreement with the autos. You'll recall at the last meeting, there was an amendment to the agreement between the city and the Florida Department of Emergency Management, who provides the funding. This is a flood mitigation assistance grant, providing funding for the demolition and reconstruction of the Otto's house at 346 Shore Drive East. Like the previous amendment, the purpose is to extend the time of completion to July 31 of 2017. That's the only change covered by this amendment. I do recommend its approval. The autos are present this evening also if the council has any questions. I recommend approval of the amendment to the agreement for the flood mitigation grant.
Thank you. Need a motion?
So moved.
And
Second.
a second. Motion and a second. Is any discussion on this? This is great. This is just a kind of a housekeeping process.
Extends the completion time from January to July of next year.
Okay, thank you. Motion and a second. No discussion on this item? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item, approve Wellness Center Agreement renewal with the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, City of Tarpon Springs, and CARE ATC. I'd like to ask Al Braithwaite, our Administrative Services Director, to give you a brief background on this item. And I am recommending approval of the renewal agreement for the Wellness Center utilized by employees and others in the city's medical clinic.
Evening, Mayor and Council, batting last. And I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for the fun I had at Oktoberfest, but I also wanted to have a gratuitous thank you to my sister-in-law, who at the Stein holding contest not only won for the women, but beat the men's record at the time. Mayor emceed. I'm hoping I get to send her a copy of this so she can see that I'm shouting out.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I'm here to update you on the financial end of the results from the Wellness Center. The cover memo specifically addressed that I had an update about 6 months ago, which had a little PowerPoint presentation and focused on the utilization and the stats. Well, we're asking you to approve the renewal of the agreement itself, which is actually an interlocal between the Florida League of Cities, FMIT, City of Oldsmar, City of Tarpon Springs, and CARE ATC, who are the administrators of the clinic. As you know, the clinic is a wellness center, offers primary care services to our employees, dependents, retirees at no cost, including prescriptions, and has worked quite well. The focus of the clinic is that its purpose is to mitigate the seemingly never-ending increase to the cost of providing health insurance. And I thought maybe if I just quoted you a couple of stats from what we've experienced in the first 3 years of the agreement to support our staff recommendation of approving the renewal. In the past 8 or so years, and the 7 prior to the existence of the Wellness Center, our health insurance has gone up by an average of about 8 or 9%. And for the first 3 years of the Wellness Center, our premiums went up 5% the first year, 0% the second year. They've gone up 3% this year. The average industry health trend, as it's referred to in the Tampa Bay area, is between 9.5% and 10% each year. So for the 3 years of the operation of the clinic, we've experienced approximately 8% increase from year 1 to now. Industry would have been somewhere between 28 to 30% for the same time period. So it appears to be accomplishing its objective, and kind of from that standpoint represents the reason why the staff recommends the approval of the renewal, which you're now considering. Certainly, I'd be willing to answer any questions you might have, but I think that's the essence of it.
Thank you, Al.
20 to 25% unless you have Obamacare, and in certain parts of the country, right? So,
sure.
And I guess, just so I'm clear on this, I mean, to go to the Wellness Center doesn't cost them anything, but I mean, they do actually pay for their, if they have dependent care, they pay for that, but then they go there for free, correct?
It's the dependent care is the premium cost to belong to the plan. As you know, right. The city pays for full-time employees. If there's a dependent coverage involved, the employee pays the difference between what the city pays for the employee and the total premium. Actually go to the center. You could get an appointment usually within 24 hours. We have expanded the hours of the center, and it's at no cost, okay. 0.
That's part of your package?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just for clarity for those that are watching. So any questions of Al?
Mm-mm.
No? Thank you, Al. I think it's great. I mean, you know, I've been up there. It's a nice facility, so. But,
well, it's definitely a creative way for us to keep our costs down. You know, from a private sector standpoint, I wish we had the ability to do that. We certainly don't have the base. Talking about our company, but the rate increases that we've seen are so substantial since the passage of the Affordable Care Act. You know, while the program and the exchange, obviously everyone knows about the announced 22-25% on the private sector, we were informed to expect somewhere around 22%. This is after 3 years that equate to a compounded increase of 36%. So we're, you know, we wish we have people spread all over, so we can't do so. I think just a great approach to ensuring that we keep providing good, solid health care to our employees.
Worked well.
Yeah, and the fact that there's no cost and no, you know, deductible associated with it, you know, if you don't feel good, go get checked, you know, and so that's a great thing. Thank you. Oh,
Second.
We have a motion, yes? Second?
Yes.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.
Well, I just want to add as a footnote that I have been to the Wellness Center as a patient, and it's been a positive experience.
And you're well.
I am. I have a report. Yes, thank you. That's all.
It works.
City Clerk, do you have anything?
I can't overstate how busy the polls are likely to be next Tuesday. You hear about absentee ballots and mailing them in. But I actually did early voting on this past Sunday. There's 5 different places in Pinellas County you can go to. Went to the Palm Harbor Community Center, walked right in, showed them my driver's license, and they print the ballot for your precinct right there. Voted and turned it in. So that's a nice service they provide, because a lot of people may not be comfortable mailing in a ballot. That's something to strongly consider. So go to votepinellas.com and.
Have you had any feedback with your letter?
Well, no.
Okay.
And what is the deadline for mailing in ballots? Do you know?
And I was just
Take
going
it to the library.
To that point, I was just going to say, city manager just dropped his off in fear that, it may not make it by next Tuesday. So is that daily at the library that they can drop it off?
It is, and they recommend that you mail it a week ahead of time. So that would have been today.
Today. But you can drop it off at the library.
During library hours or?
Library.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. Somebody's there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get out and vote.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't do that, you can take your unused ballot to the polling station, but you have to take it and turn it in.
On election day.
On
Yes.
election day.
And you should bring it the envelopes that came with it.
Everything that came with it.
As much as you got, so.
Yeah, so. Do we have the pleasure of having Loretta back this year? Do we know?
I think in
fire
August,
station?
she was at the fire station, so
Okay.
she might be back there.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. But get out and vote, no matter what your thoughts are. It's your right as a citizen to go out and vote. So at any rate, council comments, start with Councilmember Beaverland.
Okay, thank you. I just have a couple of things. When you sit up here as a council person or as a mayor or as a charter official, many times you don't know, and you may never know how you might touch somebody. And, or as a council person, something you might do can change the course of the history of the city of Oldsmar. And I just have 2 little things I would like to read, because every one of you touches somebody in some way that's very positive, and you'll never know about it. You'll never know about it. And it's always good when you get a feedback, which I did, which I'll read in a minute, where I touched somebody many, many years ago, and I don't even remember it. When I was first elected in 1990, they talked me into being on the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, which became a joke as far as I was concerned. At that time, we were trying to get Forest Lakes Boulevard ended at Pine Avenue. And the DRI said that we could have Forest Lakes all the way through to eventually hooked up with Limeball. So my second meeting, and Julia Green was the director down there. So I went down there to make a presentation, and I was pretty proud of it. I did a good job, except everybody voted against us about Limeball. And I'm sitting there having a fit. Dan will realize this. There's about 35 members on that board. Of course, the board doesn't have the power it used to have. It was powerful when I was on there. Out of the 35 members, about 18 of them are appointed by the governor of the state. The governor's appointees voted against the city of Oldsmar, which in my case, I felt like I was embarrassed because I didn't represent the city in such a way that we won to extend Forest Lakes Boulevard. So I know I didn't impress you because I lost. I got upset. And I said, I ain't stopping with this one. I called Julia Green and I told her, I said, I want this back on the agenda. She says, well, we can't do that. I said, why can't we do that? She said, well, they allow me to make the agendas. I said, do I have a right to put something on the agenda? She finally said, well, yeah. I said, fine. I want it back on the agenda because I'm writing to the governor of Florida. Well, evidently, she made a phone call afterwards, and she called me back, and she said, well, look, before I put it back on the agenda, she said, is it okay if I kind of work on this for an extra month? I said, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Okay, 2 meetings, I wanted it back on the damn agenda. So I wrote a letter to the governor of Florida. Now, do you ever expect to get a letter back? I got a letter back. My letter was...
Can you read it publicly?
April 10th.
No, I don't want you to read it.
I'm not going to read it. May 17th, 1990, I got a letter from Governor Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
And he says there, blah, 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 blah. It is my understanding that recently the Milford Corporation development, that's Cypress Lake, blah, blah, blah. So I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you something. Your appointees voted against the city of Oldsmar, and we have 8,000 votes in this city. And we're the epicenter of another 500,000. Anyway, he says, as a member of the Florida Land and Water Adjudicatory, how do you say that word?
Adjudicatory.
Thank you. Commission and statutory responsible for making decisions on DRI appeals, I will be involved with reviewing your city's recent issue development. Julie Green called me back because the governor called her. And she says, well, I'm going to work with you on this. I said, you bet you're going to work with me on this because this is the city of Oldsmar and we're not going to sit back just because we're a tiny city up here and let you run over us. So, in 2 months, guess who voted for the city of Oldsmar? Every governor appointee. That's what you're setting up here for, gang. When I left office this last time, I got this letter from the Florida House of Representatives, Representative Chris Sproul. Councilman Beaverland, City of Oldsmar. Dear Councilman Beaverland, congratulations on your retirement. I met you many years ago when I was a teenager, and you were so kind to me. You took the time to talk to me about city government and the impact it has on people's lives. It meant the world to me. I know that I'm far from the only person you impacted during your time. In Oldsmar, I wish you the best. Thank you for everything you do. Chris Sproul, Representative District 65. I almost cried. I don't remember him. But somehow, every one of you, including you impact somebody. How you represent yourself on this council. And you may never know it.
And I think that applies to not only on the council, but I think just life in general. I think
yes.
you affect people.
You're going to cause something in somebody's life. That's going to be a bright spot.
Okay.
And so anyway, I appreciate that. Just thank you all for who you are.
It's kind of funny to that point, and I don't know if I had an effect, but I was all over the news years ago when they put in the Veterans Expressway, because I actually at the time worked for the engineering firm that was doing the project, and I went to the owner and I said, right there when you come Independence and you're getting ready to get on by Skyway Park to go toward the airport, they wanted to put a toll plaza there. And I went to the owner of my company and I said, I'm going to go to the public hearing and I'm going to speak out about this. Am I going to have a job? He goes, absolutely, you're going to have a job. And I went there because that location held the entire group. Well, at the time I lived in Town and Country, but that held Pinellas County and Oldsmar and Town and Country basically held us hostage because that was our only way to get on. You didn't have another alternative without taking a toll other than driving, a green mile, so you don't know. And so it was all over the news. I said the old, don't tell us you're not going to put it in there. No, I went like that, and that was all over the news for the, for the all night. So you really don't know, but you got to speak out. So anyway, thank you for that story. Gabby?
I'll piggyback off that just because something happened on Friday. It was kind of neat. I don't know if you all remember Marco Tarantino. He was a young gentleman. Janice actually introduced me to him, and he volunteered for my campaign. And he, came out and supported and walked and held signs for me. And he was just someone that he lived in Tarpon Springs, but he was interested in public policy and city government. And so, anyways, we became really good friends. He's a young gentleman, and I had a call on Friday from the Department of the Interior for him as a reference, and he got an internship with them on Friday, so that was pretty neat. So it was kind of a neat story. I told him I'd take all the credit, even though he did have other references that they called. Only a few things. One, happy birthday to you, Doug. When's your official birthday? Tomorrow. Happy early birthday. Can't be a meeting if we don't say that.
Doug?
None of your business.
Since we were talking about politics, I just thought it was kind of funny. I was in Charleston this weekend, and I drove by a church, and the sign said, Jesus is coming, hopefully before Election Day. I got a nice little laugh out of that. And then, great job, Doug, on the press conference. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. I was
Thanks.
at the office that day for quarter end, but I think if you don't ask for something, you won't get it. I always believe that, and I think some people may think that the city's a long shot, and they may think that in a lot of things, but you certainly definitely help put us on the map, and I greatly appreciate and Bruce and everyone else that's been involved in putting our hat in the ring for that, and I think whatever happens, really great job.
Thanks. I was telling Bruce today, in hindsight, it was some effort pulling it all together with the city staff and everything. We had a few glitches at the end, but I felt really good about it. And I think the response from the media was very favorable. And, I feel good that if we don't get it for some whatever reason, which I don't know that that's the case, but if we don't, I feel like the city really put their best foot forward. And if we don't get it, it's not due to lack of effort. So.
Mayor, I've always said I want a lot of scars on my body. That could mean I did a lot of things.
Yeah.
I want a lot of failures, because that means at least I got 4 or 5 successes.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. You don't do it by sitting in a chair somewhere.
Nope. Thank you. Anything else?
And just lastly, I told Bruce today I will not be at the next council meeting. I have a work conference all day, and then I will be flying to Argentina that evening. So.
Oh, great. We get to get jealous again. Facebook post.
So I will not be here. But,
Argentina.
Do you have a map with pins on it of all the places you've been? You need to.
I probably do too. This was kind of random. A friend said, "Did you know the prices for flights for Argentina? They were like half, the price." And she goes, "I booked my ticket yesterday." This was one of my coworkers. And I said, "How could you do that without me?" And then she said, "Do you want to go?" And then I said, "Now you really did me in, because of course I want to go." And that's kind of how it happened. So I was telling Bruce, and I ended up going a couple days now before her. I'm going to go do some hiking in Patagonia, which has always been on my bucket list. And then I will meet up with her to do Buenos Aires. But the funniest part I told Bruce is, growing up, I have never driven a manual car, ever. I just didn't have one, and I never had lessons. And this occurred when I took my mom to Italy a few years ago. I rented us a manual thinking I would learn beforehand, and she ended up driving. My mother, 30 years later, after never driving a manual in 30 years, she ended up driving us through Italy. So in Argentina, there is no manual, or there is no automatic option. So I have a lesson tomorrow evening, and I will be learning.
Where's that lesson at?
You can drive one of the VWs.
Don't worry, everyone on this road is safe.
Okay, we're good.
You guys, you got it? Yeah, make sure. Yeah.
But I thought, man, in hindsight, maybe this trip is so I finally learned after 30 years how to drive a manual vehicle. So pray for me in Argentina and anyone else on the road. And that's
pop in
all
the clutch, yeah.
That's all I have.
And thanks for rubbing that in, because I was 30 minutes away from booking a cruise right after Thanksgiving. I mean, literally 30 minutes. And I said to the chamber, I'm going to the 28th to December 3rd. He goes, "You're going to miss the mayor's breakfast, I see." I'm like, oh. I don't get like a block of time where I can take, a week, because I always got something with mayor's council or something.
You
But
got your vice mayor to pour coffee over there too.
Yeah, well, I can't do that. I'm debating on missing the first meeting in December, but I'll let you know. So anyway, anything else?
No, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a few items, that just real quick, I'm going to try to go through them. I do want to congratulate the Chamber on Oktoberfest. It was an outstanding event. And I also want to thank the city team that came out and helped out, and that included Ann and Susan from the library, and I should thank my wife, because she was also there, who helped out as well. But it was a lot of fun, and it was nice to help the Chamber out, and that relationship is important to the city. The second item is I want to say thank you to the staff for all the extra work that they put into the Halloween Happenings event. It is extra effort from them, and let me tell you, the kids love it, though. It was nice and fun to be a judge out there with Councilmember Beaverland and the mayor. It was fun. Nobody followed me home. I didn't get jumped by any other parent, so it was okay. But the kids beat me up, no. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Good spirit, good safe place. I had a question about an ordinance that Tampa passed, and I'm not sure if the deputy would have an answer to this, or maybe Tom would, whether it's an ordinance issue. Not too long ago, Tampa passed an ordinance, and it had to do with, it was an investigative report by one of the local news organizations where patrons of drinking establishments, where if they left their vehicle there and were responsible if they had too much to drink and took, Lyft or Uber home, that it became kind of an open field for some of the unscrupulous tow truck companies to come in because they were left there at a certain amount of time that exceeded what was ever part of their local ordinance. And so it was almost a counter incentive for people to be responsible, because if they left their cars, they were going to get towed, even though they left them in a responsible parking space.
Didn't we address that?
I believe it was the Pinellas County ordinance, and,
Is it?
yeah, and, I don't know the specifics of it, but they changed it so that the violation would not kick in until like 4 or 5 hours after the beginning of the parking meter time. So for example, and I think they said it at noon hour, they'll allow you to allow your vehicle to stay overnight, and you won't be charged or have a violation until after noon hour. So you have that morning time frame to get back to pick up your vehicle without it being towed as a direct result of having an overtime parking violation.
Well, and I guess my question is, and I probably should know the answer to this, but I don't. Let's just say that somebody's parking where, it's not a metered parking situation. I don't know if we have any ordinances about leaving a vehicle out at a public place for a certain period of time where it potentially could be towed because it's, violating an ordinance being parked there.
There is a state statute that specifically talks about that, on-street parking that is in front of, for example, a fire hydrant or in a handicap spot or something that addresses that. But, otherwise, unless it's an actual violation, it's really, I don't think it's going to come into play here in Oldsmar.
Okay.
Because we would be making the calls, and we would be depending upon the sheriff's department to be making those calls to determine whether there was an actual violation. The tow companies wouldn't be able to come in and do that.
Okay, I just thought I'd raise the question because I saw it and had never
Well, that's a good
considered it.
question, because we did have that problem here in town.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. And we addressed it at the time.
I can take a look at the code book and.
Would you?
Yeah, sure. And give you some specifics as to.
Thank you. The next item, I just want to say great job on the presentation of the Ray Stadium. I had the opportunity to be here and spend time kind of working the participants who were here. It was kind of a collective effort with staff and who's that person? I don't know. I'll go find out, and it was interesting. I did have the opportunity to spend a little bit of time talking to the Rays. The Rays, as you know, sent their VP of Operations and Facilities, who was here, and he, as you said, he was impressed and very attentive, I should say. And then it was interesting to me because we had people here who were very excited, who are involved in some potential mass regional transit projects, including the rail. And we have people here from J.P. Morgan who are interested in the economics of it. You know, you could almost sit back and as someone who's gone out and raised capital in the public venue before, it was interesting that large investment bankers interested in being here just to kind of keep an ear on it. So in any event, great job, and you know, certainly the city manager and the mayor deserve, I think, a lot of kudos. They've done a lot of work on this. I know there's been people on the team that have definitely helped. And you know, Mr. Mayor, you probably don't hear it enough, but I really was very proud. I think you did an outstanding job. And frankly, the feedback I've heard from everyone, with just like a couple people who've raised the issue of traffic, has just been very positive and very proud. And I also would dovetail that and say, I think, and I'll put this out there just to put it on the minds of people, I think if we do make the short list, then I think the council should have some serious discussion about investing in some legal representation. Specifically, you know, our competitors are spending substantial amount of money with representatives who, lawyers and specifically who specialize in this area. And if we make it to that next round, I would say that our odds become substantially better, and I think we could justify making that type of investment moving forward. So I'm not suggesting we discuss it right now, because that would probably be an agenda item, but I just throw it out there because clearly others are. Tampa certainly is. I know there was a story in the Times about it, I think today. And, you know, that's probably at the end of the day, once you get past the point of where we're at now, from people going, oh, come on, to, come on. You know, there's certainly that feel going on. And it's the only, what I like to call, it's the dual county location. It's the only dual county location. It's not really Oldsmar, it just happens to be in Oldsmar. And so in any event, I mentioned that because
if I could, thank you for the kind words, and if I could too, I think, I talked to Bruce today. I'm actually meeting tomorrow with the transit guy, Mr. Green Jacket. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meet with him tomorrow.
Green Jacket. Mr. Green Jacket does have a name.
Yeah, Thomas, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, so I meet with him tomorrow afternoon, and then Bruce and I talked today, a consulting firm. I've actually known the gentleman for a long time. We did engineering together. He's volunteered to, I'm going to meet with him and discuss, he's volunteered to do a pro bono kind of preliminary traffic study and site study, you know, maybe wetlands and things like that. You know, I don't want him to invest a ton of time, but, you know, traffic is an issue, and if he's willing to do it pro bono, I don't want it to consume a bunch of his firm's time, but if he's willing to do it, obviously he would get, you know, the accolades, you know, because we would probably turn that over to the Rays. And then to the point, I agree with you, and I think we'll see how everything plays out. You know, if let's just say it's our site against a site in Hillsborough County, and I think we would certainly have the support of Pinellas County to help us, you know, fund that, because then we want to keep it in Pinellas County. So kind of maybe depends on how it shakes out.
Yeah, and I think even if there's, you know, theoretically, let's say there were two sites, one in each county, and then there was the dual county location, right? Now, potentially, you might have either site or both site, their commissions a little bit, should we hedge our bets?
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, should we roll it all and take a chance on losing it? Or should we rally the troops for at least we've got a dual county option?
Yeah.
And so, hey, listen, you know, that's a scenario that could potentially play out, and candidly, politically, it potentially could be a scenario in which some of our representatives and their delegations from both counties get more comfortable about, because it becomes a more sellable scenario for additional help from the state.
Yeah.
And so, in any event, that's the thing that, you know, some of the professionals might assist in that kind of endeavor, whatever that might be. So The only other thing I have is to say, happy birthday, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm not going to say happy birthday, Mr. President. It's just coming from me. Never mind. And
Not without the dress on.
That's, I knew that was coming.
You set it up, buddy.
I know. Wait till you see your birthday card.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's nice. You'll enjoy it.
Okay.
Also, since we don't have a meeting beforehand, I do want to say Happy Veterans Day and to all of our veterans, and thank them for their service to our country. And the last but not least, don't forget, if you haven't already, get out and vote. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Sreki?
Thank you, Mayor. I really don't have much. I just wanted to say, sorry I missed your raise.
I think Ann sent out a connection to YouTube
Yeah.
to watch it, so I think it's.
Deb?
Yes, Deb. What did I say?
You said Ann.
Oh, sorry, I meant Deb. Deb sent out a connection to the YouTube video, so.
But as I travel around the city, a lot of people are really talking about it, and you did a great job in promoting our city. And I also missed the Halloween Friday night. I was at the Florida League of Cities Advanced Institute for Elected Officials training over in Cocoa Beach, and that was a great experience for me. I just want to say one thing. We have a great city. As the fire chief and the other people that you saw tonight spoke, we have an amazing city compared to some of these other cities in Florida. And I'm honored to be a part of this council, Mayor, and I just want to just say thank you all for what you do, because our water plant, our sewer plant, our reclaimed water plant, most of these cities don't have any of that, none of them. We are blessed to live here, and our neighbors in this city are blessed to live in our city. And that's really all I had. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah, and to that point, and to, I guess, Eric's point and Jerry's point, sometimes you don't know how great a city we have until you go to the Florida League of Cities Conference, or tomorrow I'll be at the Mayor's Council with, a lot of the other elected officials, and, I got chastised by St. Pete Beach for my comments about them not participating in kind of the collective agreement to fund PSTA. They, for some reason, through the resolution, had the ability to opt out along with 4 other, cities, and it really, it's quite a bit of money, but they have other issues. They're one of the ones with the sewer problems and, pipe problems and everything else, and they decided to, probably not do studies and not look at things and kind of keep up with, the times and the growth and what have you. So you really don't know sometimes until you go talk. And, Tom's told us about other councils that, that he's a part of. And, so I think it's great. And to your points about not knowing who you touch, you don't know. Jason that came tonight from SPC, and Sophia, I know, who came last year. Her and I still talk, she's still involved. And you don't know, where you might see those people. And like you said, in 20 years, I might not even remember, I might remember somebody coming here, but I sure wouldn't remember if he came and, he said, all of a sudden he's the governor, or who knows what, what he could be. So.
And happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought you forgot. But, and I hear the same thing in radio. It's, I've been in radio for a long time, and, I'm now seeing kids that I've met when they were 5 years old, and now they're in college, and they still remember when I gave them that T-shirt, or I met them, or I took them to meet somebody, or I, or just life in general. I think you've helped a lot, touched a lot of people, myself included. I know Dan and Eric, and I'm sure Gabby, just with your passion for the city, and yours as well, Bruce. Just to have somebody that has been here, and Tom, that's what makes us really unique, is that, we've all, been here, you've been here a long time, and it makes you, and our employees, we were talking about it the other day, just, the service awards, it makes you proud to be a part of that team, even though we have a limited time on the council that we can be here, unless you're Jerry Beaverland, you just keep coming back, but, but at any rate, so I really don't have anything else. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words. It was a collective effort of everybody, but I really, truly believed that it could sell the stadium here. And as Bruce and I talked about it today, whether it was he and I collectively or he and I individually going and talking to people, I thought it was just us drinking our own Kool-Aid because we're in Oldsmar. But, I told this story before. I was sitting somewhere watching football or something, or the Rays game over the summer. And something had just been in the news or on the newspaper or whatever, something. And I'm just sitting there having a beer watching the Rays game, and I could hear these two guys like sitting next to me talking about, did you hear our Oldsmar and, going on and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't say anything that, who I was or anything. And I'm like, okay. And you've had a couple, I think, cases where, people are now sharing it. And, I think our North County Mayor's Managers group kind of got tired of hearing about us because we're always bringing brochures and pamphlets and flyers and, but it's a great thing for North County, too, so.
Mayor, we may do a lot of things, but we don't drink our own poison.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we do to some extent because I think we drink it because we believe we are a great city and it's, passion, I think is what it would be, passion juice, that we just have.
Was it?
No, his was, I don't know, mine was. So anyway, I don't really have anything else. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I got 0 plans, so.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Anything else? Nope, adjourned.